I'll talk about doing a STSO with the hollow stem, how we can make that very simple. So we have all burnt our fingers. What should not be used for STSO is now very clear. We have all burnt our hands trying to use distal, fixing revision stems with a very high offset. You can see the bad results. We have tried Kohn-Wagner and into many problems. We have used standard metaphyseal engaging stems, and that would be a complete disaster when doing STSO. So we all know this car, the Hyundai Creta. It's now electric. Not a bad car at all, good. But we also have the Mahindra, which is born electric. That means right from the base, right from the start, it's been built as an electric car. So at present, we use the S-ROM stem for our subtrochanteric shortening osteotomies. I have done about 70 of them. It has worked well, no question about that. However, it has its limitations in that so many steps are involved, and sometimes you cannot guarantee union, and there are some limitations with the S-ROM stem. So this is the Hyundai Creta. There's already a machine there, and you just added on the electric part to that. But however, this stem has been built for STSO, the hollow stem. And I'll tell you how we have made this procedure so simple with the hollow stem. So how a design from start helps is three important things. It has monoblock trials, so all trials will be monoblock, unlike the modular ones of most stems. The same shoulder to tip distance will be same across the 10 sizes. The third point is predominantly a distal fitting stem, the low offset over the entire range. Now it's important to keep in mind that no other stem on the market has even one of these features. So it's got three features not present in any other stem. So the important advantage we have is we are able to assess the infratrochanteric tightness independently. I'll show you in the video because of the monoblock trials. So we'll go to the video now. So this is an young patient. You can see that we need a subtrochanteric osteotomy. We do a STSO 1.5 centimeters below the lesser trochanter. We now put a trial stem only on the proximal fragment and try and reduce it. It's not possible. So we do some release. We may also have to sink the stem a little bit. But the first step would be to assess supratrochanteric tightness. And we're trying to reduce this now I have reduced that into the socket. Now I measure an important distance known as the shoulder osteotomy length, or the SOL. This is going to be key, the shoulder osteotomy length. I have now measured that. Now, once I know what the SOL is, I mark that on a ruler there. That's the SOL. Now we are going to independently to the distal fragment. So we put the trial in the distal fragment. I ream whatever is necessary, and I keep a rough distance of the SOL outside the bone. So surgery is independent for the proximal fragment, surgery is independent for the distal fragment. And only the final stem goes into both. So now the distal fragment, I'm using it. I've left it outside roughly by the SOL distance, and I will try to reduce this. Obviously not possible, because that's why you need a subtrochanteric shortening osteotomy. So now I'm going to sink this stem further so that I can reduce only the distal fragment. So you can see that I've sunk the stem a little more inside, and I'm going to reduce this into the socket. Now this would be the effective subtrochanteric reduction length. So now the surgery becomes very simple. I've now reduced the distal fragment inside independent of the proximal fragment. I now measure this distance, which will be the effective reduction distance. Now I subtract the effective reduction distance from the SOL, and I now know what is the segment of the bone that I have to remove. So in this particular patient, the difference is 14 millimeters. So I have to remove 14 millimeters of bone. There's no guesswork here. It's very accurate. So I now remove 14 millimeters of bone from that segment. So I mark 14 millimeters, and I remove 14 millimeters of bone very precisely. So everything we are able to tune to a millimeter. So that's be 14 millimeters. So that will be my subtrochanteric shortening segment. So I remove that off. Now I have to upsize the stem so that the stem now stays for a SOL distance outside the bone. So I'm now upsizing the stem so that I need to leave the SOL outside. So typically we'd upsize by 1 or 2 sizes. And now I'm putting in the monoblock trial that is now exactly proud by the SOL distance. So now I'm able to reduce that independently. The surgery is done. So in my hand now it takes 10 to 15 minutes. With the S-ROM usually takes 1 to 1.5 hours. So that's it, all done. So all I need to do is to take the definitive stem and put it in both the fragments. If you have upsized the distal fragment stem, then you need to ream the proximal fragment also to accommodate the larger size stem. So we already know the shoulder distance. We have already marked where the shoulder was. Remember that every stem will have the same shoulder to tip distance, specifically for STSO. So now this is the first step that I'm going to put something inside both the fragments together. I'm now using the definitive stem. I'm hammering that definitive stem. It's got a version guide. So whatever is the version that I want, I'm going to hammer that inside till I reach the shoulder mark. Surgery is done. 10 minutes, subtrochanteric shortening osteotomy is done. So the shoulder reaches the shoulder mark there. So you can see the stability that I have with the osteotomy site because I have independently prepared the distal segment. It is really, I can demonstrate a very good rotational stability. So I've reached that and that's it. Your surgery is done. So now I put a head on that and it will reduce very nicely. So that's the post-op X-ray. So what was a very complex surgery has now been made extremely simple. So this particular thing doing an STSO with the halo ushers in a new era of simplifying STSO, not only in India or Asia, but I think across the world. Thank you for your attention.